Welcome back to From Beyond. Today we're taking a deep dive into the blue ray. It's also called the throat chakra in some traditions, but we'll mostly be sticking to the law of one and Ra material for this one. You ever feel like you just have to speak up, like even when it's scary? That urge, that drive to express your truth, that's the blue ray in action.
It really is fascinating, isn't it? The blue ray is like a bridge, between your heart, the center of compassion, and those higher spiritual centers, where all that wisdom and intuition is.
So it's not just about like shooting off our mouths all the time.
No, not at all. Think of it like this. Your heart provides the caring, the loving energy, and your higher centers add wisdom, insight. The blue ray, it kind of blends those together, so what you express, it's not just emotional, it's powerful because it's aligned, with the bigger picture.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But our outline here mentions this authentic communication.
It's all about integrity. Imagine someone whose words and actions match up perfectly. If they say they'll do something, they do it. They express an opinion. It genuinely reflects what they believe. That congruence, that's what makes communication authentic. It comes from a place of wholeness, where heart, mind, and spirit are all in sync.
So it's not just what we say, but how we say it too.
Exactly. And how we listen is just as important. Ever had a conversation where you felt truly heard? Without judgment. That's the blue ray working in a receptive way. When we listen with an open heart, we create a space for the other person's blue ray to flow freely too.
That reminds me of a time when, well, let's just say I learned the hard way that bringing my own judgments into a conversation can shut things down fast.
We've all been there, but the more we practice that non-judgmental listening, the better we get at recognizing, the divine in everyone, even if we don't agree with them. And that's a powerful step towards resolving those conflicts with, clarity and love.
So no more shouting matches or passive-aggressive silence?
Ideally, no. It's about finding that balance, right? Between asserting your own truth and honoring the other person's perspective. Even in a disagreement, you can communicate clearly, without aggression. And that opens the door to understanding instead of more conflict.
Okay, this is starting to sound a lot trickier than I thought.
It can be challenging, yeah. But remember the blue ray. It's not operating in isolation. The outline mentions this, the importance of aligning expression with inner love and wisdom. It's like the green ray, associated with the heart chakra. It needs to be strong and open for the blue ray to work at its best.
So a closed-off heart makes it harder to communicate authentically.
It makes sense, right? Think about it. If you're holding on to resentment or hurt, those feelings can leak into your communication, even if you don't mean them to.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that. But how can we make sure our communication is coming from a loving place, especially when we're stressed or upset?
The law of one really emphasizes reflection. Taking a moment to pause, before speaking, asking yourself, is this coming from a place of love? Will my words help or hurt? That can go a long way.
So it's about choosing our words carefully.
It's about aligning your intention with your highest good. You're not trying to sugarcoat things or avoid tough conversations. You're simply ensuring your communication is rooted in love and compassion, even when addressing those difficult topics.
Okay, I like that. But what about the fear of speaking up? What if sharing our truth leads to rejection or judgment?
That's where courage comes in. The sources emphasize that expressing your truth is a service to yourself and others. It's not about seeking approval or validation. It's about sharing your unique perspective and allowing it to contribute to the world.
What if it's something controversial? What if people disagree?
Disagreement is inevitable. The blue ray isn't about convincing everyone to see things your way. It's about stepping into your power and sharing your authentic voice, even if it makes others uncomfortable.
So it's about speaking our truth regardless of the outcome.
Absolutely. It's about trusting that your authentic expression has value, even if it doesn't always receive the praise or acceptance, that you might hope for. And remember, you're not alone in this. We're all navigating this journey of self-expression and finding our voices.
I've heard about things like, meditation and chanting to work with the blue ray. Do those practices really make a difference?
They absolutely can. The sources mention visualization, where you imagine a blue sphere at your throat, growing and radiating. It's a simple but powerful way to connect to the energy of the blue ray and feel its presence.
I've tried that before, but honestly, I'm not sure if I'm doing it right.
Visualization is a practice. Like anything else, it might feel awkward at first, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Just imagine that blue sphere expanding, radiating outward, connecting you to universal truth. You can even try chanting or toning. making sounds that resonate with your throat chakra.
I can see how that would help.
Yeah.
It's like using vibrations to clear out any blockages and get the energy flowing smoothly.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of quiet reflection. Spending time in nature, journaling, your thoughts and feelings, those can all help you tune into your inner wisdom and allow deeper truths to emerge.
I love that. Journaling has always been a good outlet for me.
It's a wonderful way to connect with yourself and explore your inner landscape. And speaking of expression, the sources highlight the importance of embracing those creative outlets. Whether it's painting, writing, singing, or dancing, any form of creativity that channels your inner being can help activate the blue ray.
That's so interesting. I've always loved to write, but I never thought of it as a way to connect with my blue ray.
Creativity is a powerful tool for self-expression, and it can be a beautiful way to channel your inner truth. Don't limit yourself to just one outlet. Explore different forms of creativity and see what resonates with you. You might surprise yourself.
I'm definitely going to try that. What about the practical side of things? Can the blue ray help with more than just creative expression?
Absolutely. The sources mention that the blue ray can help with innovative problem solving. It's about blending logic and intuition. That aha moment when you suddenly see a new solution or approach.
So it's about tapping into that creative energy and using it to think outside the box.
Exactly. It's about accessing that space where the analytical mind meets the intuitive heart. When those two forces come together, amazing things can happen.
Okay, I'm starting to see how powerful this blue ray energy really is.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about the spiritual side of things. How does that tie into all of this?
The sources emphasize the importance of seeking alignment with universal truth. Through spiritual study and exploration, it's about connecting to something larger than ourselves and allowing that connection to inform our communication and actions.
So it's about expanding our understanding of the world and our place in it.
It's about recognizing that we're all part of a greater whole and that our individual actions and words have a ripple effect. When we align with universal truth, we naturally become more compassionate and understanding in our communication.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how can we actively work towards that alignment?
There are many paths, but service to others is highlighted as a powerful way to activate the blue ray. Sharing your wisdom, talents, and compassion with others, that can uplift and empower them, while also strengthening your own connection to universal truth.
So it's about using our gift to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be grand or elaborate. Sometimes the simplest acts of kindness can make the biggest difference. A listening ear, a kind word, a helping hand. These can all be powerful expressions of the blue ray energy.
Okay, this is giving me a lot to think about. But what happens if our blue ray is blocked? How can we tell?
The sources mention several signs of a blocked blue ray. Fear of speaking, dishonesty, difficulty expressing emotions, or feeling chronically misunderstood.
That makes sense. It's like the energy is stuck and can't flow freely.
Exactly. But the good news is, these blockages can be addressed. The Law of One emphasizes self-acceptance and forgiveness as keys to clearing those blockages. It's about acknowledging our imperfections and embracing ourselves fully, including our past struggles with communication.
So it's about being kind to ourselves and recognizing that we're all works in progress.
Absolutely. We all make mistakes, and that's okay. The key is to learn from those experiences and continue to strive for greater authenticity and alignment in our communication. And there are physical practices that can help too, like yoga poses that open the throat chakra.
Like what?
Poses like fish pose or camel pose can gently stretch and open the throat area, helping to release any tension or blockage. And don't forget the power of breath work. Consciously breathing into the throat area can also help to stimulate and clear the blue ray energy.
Wow, there's so much to explore with the blue ray. But what if we feel stuck or unsure how to move forward? The sources mention calling upon higher guidance, but how do we actually do that?
Meditation is a powerful tool for connecting with your higher self or spiritual guides. Simply sit in stillness, focus on your breath, and invite guidance to flow into your awareness. You can also ask specific questions and see what insights emerge.
So it's a conversation with our inner wisdom.
Exactly. And some people find it helpful to work with a trusted spiritual teacher or mentor who can offer support and guidance along the way.
This deep dive has been so insightful. I'm already starting to see how I can apply these teachings to my own life. But what about channeling? The sources mention that too, but it always seemed a bit mysterious to me.
Channeling can be a powerful way to access higher wisdom, but it's important to approach it with integrity and a deep commitment to truth. The sources emphasize that channeling should always be done for the highest good. and with a focus on serving others.
It's not about seeking personal gain or like ego boosting.
It's about being a conduit for divine wisdom and using that wisdom to uplift and empower others. And it's crucial to be discerning about the information you receive through channeling, always checking it against your own intuition and inner knowing.
It sounds like there's a lot of responsibility that comes with channeling.
There is. It's not something to be taken lightly. But for those who are called to this path, it can be a profound way to connect with higher realms and bring forth wisdom that can benefit humanity.
Throughout all of these sources, there are so many fascinating details about the blue ray. It's clear that this energy center plays a vital role in our spiritual evolution. But what are some of the things that really stood out to you?
One of the most striking details is that the blue ray is the first energy center to allow fully integrated spiritual energy transfers. That's like it acts as a bridge, between our physical and spiritual selves, allowing for a more harmonious flow of energy between the two.
So it's like a stepping stone on the path to higher consciousness.
Exactly. And it's not just about receiving energy, it's about transmitting it as well. The sources mention that the blue ray can be used to empower others to express themselves more freely. When we're operating from an open and authentic blue ray, we create a space for others to feel safe and supported in sharing their truth.
That's beautiful. It's like we're radiating an energy that encourages others to step into their own power.
And it's not limited to verbal communication. The sources also highlight how the blue ray can facilitate nonverbal expressions like art, music, and poetry. It's about allowing that creative energy to flow through us and find its unique expression in the world, regardless of the form it takes.
I love that. It's like we're all interconnected through this web of creative energy,
Yeah.
inspiring and uplifting each other. But the sources also mention that blockages in the blue ray can stem from unresolved issues in lower energy centers. Can you elaborate on that?
It's a reminder that our energy system is interconnected. Imbalances in one area can affect the flow of energy in other areas. For example, if we're holding on to fear or insecurity in the root chakra, that can create a blockage in the blue ray, making it difficult to express ourselves authentically.
It's like a domino effect.
In a way, yes. It highlights the importance of addressing any imbalances or blockages we may find in our lower chakras, as those can impact the functioning of our higher energy centers. It's about taking a holistic approach to our energetic well-being, recognizing that all of our chakras are interconnected and influence each other.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about this idea of advanced work with the blue ray? The sources mentioned that it can include communion with the Creator. What does that mean?
That's a beautiful concept, isn't it? It speaks to the profound spiritual potential that lies within us. As we refine and activate our blue ray energy, we become more aligned with our true nature as divine beings. And through that alignment, we can experience a deeper connection to the Creator, allowing that divine energy to flow through us and guide our communication and actions.
It's like we're becoming a channel for divine inspiration and wisdom.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're not just physical beings, but spiritual beings having a human experience. And through the power of the blue ray, we can access those higher realms and bring forth that divine light into the world. But it's important to remember that this is a journey, not a destination.
So it's about continually striving for greater alignment and clarity in our communication.
Exactly. It's about embracing the power of the blue ray and using it to express our truth, connect with others, and create a more loving and harmonious world.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the blue ray. I feel like we've covered so much ground and there's still so much more to explore. But for now, let's take a break and come back to continue our exploration in the next part.
Yeah, it's amazing how the blue ray ties into so much. It's not just this isolated thing in our throat. Ra really emphasizes that it's a reflection of our whole energy system.
That makes sense, yeah, considering all the connections we've already talked about, like how unresolved issues in those lower chakras can actually block the blue ray. Yeah. That seems kind of counterintuitive, but I guess it's all connected.
It is. Imagine those lower chakras like the foundation of a house. If they're unstable, if there's fear in the root chakra or insecurity in the sacral, then it's hard to build a strong, open blue ray on top of that.
Okay, I get the analogy, but practically speaking, what can we do about those lower chakra issues? I mean, I can't just will them away.
It's a process, not a quick fix. For the root chakra, it might be grounding techniques, feeling your feet on the earth, spending time in nature, things that make you feel safe and secure.
And for the sacral, where those creative blocks and issues with boundaries can pop up.
That's where exploring healthy pleasure comes, and dance, art, anything that helps you feel alive and connected to your body, and setting clear boundaries is huge. Not letting others drain your energy or dictate how you express yourself.
It sounds like activating the Blu-ray isn't just about communication. It's almost like self-discovery, right? Like getting to know yourself better along the way.
Precisely. It's about understanding your needs, your fears, those patterns you fall into that might be blocking your authentic expression, and it's a continual process. The sources talk about how people striving to open the Blu-ray often get stuck trying to balance assertiveness and receptivity.
Oh, I feel that, like wanting to speak your truth, but also not steamroll over everyone else.
It's a delicate dance. It's about finding that sweet spot where you can stand firmly in your own truth while also being open to hearing others. That's where the real magic of the Blu-ray happens, when you can communicate clearly and powerfully without shutting down other perspectives.
But honestly, that's so hard, especially when you feel strongly about something.
It takes practice, and it's okay to stumble. The key is to be aware of those tendencies, to notice when you're getting too attached to your own viewpoint, and to consciously make space for others.
It's like
Solve.
yeah, almost having two ears and one mouth for a reason. Listen more than you speak.
Exactly. And when you do speak, choose your words wisely. Remember, the Blu-ray empowers you to express yourself, but it also calls for compassion and understanding.
So it's not about winning arguments or proving a point. It's about using your voice to create something positive.
Precisely. The sources really emphasize that aligning your intention with universal love is essential when working with the Blu-ray. It's about speaking and acting from a place of love, aiming to uplift and inspire, rather than to tear down or control.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and it ties in with what we talked about earlier, how the Blu-ray can actually help empower others to express themselves more freely, right?
Absolutely. When your own Blu-ray is clear and strong, you radiate an energy of acceptance and openness that creates a safe space for others to share their truth without fear of judgment.
That's such a powerful idea. I mean, think about the impact that could have on our relationships, our communities, even the world as a whole.
It's transformative, and it all starts with that individual commitment to cultivating our own Blu-ray energy. You know, there's some really fascinating details about the Blu-ray in these sources. For example, Rad describes how in more developed entities, the Blu-ray center can actually appear crystalline with many facets.
Wow, that's a beautiful image, crystalline, flashing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture that. What do you think it symbolizes?
To me, it represents that clarity and transparency of communication we've been talking about. It's like the Blu-ray becomes this prism refracting light in all these different directions, reflecting the multifaceted nature of truth.
Okay, that's amazing. And it makes me think about how the sources talk about the Blu-ray as the place where wisdom and love blend together.
That's such a key element. It's not just about speaking from the head or the heart, but integrating both, communicating with compassion and insight, holding that balance.
It reminds me of something we discussed earlier, how fear can block the Blu-ray. If we're afraid to be vulnerable to share our true feelings, it's like we're cutting off the flow of love from the heart, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if we're too caught up in the mind, overthinking and analyzing everything, we can lose touch with that intuitive wisdom that flows through the Blu-ray. It's about finding that sweet spot, that harmonious blend of heart and mind.
So you're saying that even when we're working with a super spiritual concept like the Blu-ray, we still have to deal with our very human emotions and thought patterns.
Absolutely. It's all part of the journey. And that's why practices like meditation and self-reflection are so important. They help us to become aware of those patterns, to understand those underlying fears and insecurities that might be blocking us. And as we work through them, our communication becomes more authentic and aligned with our true selves.
That's inspiring. It's like we're constantly refining and expanding our capacity for true expression.
Precisely. And as we do that, we also become more receptive to the truth of others. We're able to listen with an open heart, to see beyond our own limited perspectives, and to engage in dialogue that is both meaningful and transformative.
Okay, I'm really getting into this, but I'm curious about this idea of service to others that the sources mention. How does that tie into the Blu-ray?
The Blu-ray thrives in the context of sharing wisdom or understanding that uplifts and empowers others. It's about using your voice to contribute to the well-being of others, not just to express your own needs or opinions. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and that our words and actions have a ripple effect.
So it's like taking that authentic expression we've been talking about and using it to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be about grand gestures or profound pronouncements. Sometimes the simplest acts of kindness and encouragement can make the most profound difference, offering a listening ear, sharing a kind word, expressing your appreciation for someone. These are all powerful ways to activate the Blu-ray and contribute to the collective good.
It's like that saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
Absolutely. And the blue ray gives us the tools to do just that. It empowers us to communicate our truth with clarity and compassion, to connect with others on a deeper level, and to create a more loving and harmonious world.
This is amazing. I feel like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with the Blu-ray.
There's always more to discover, and that's the beauty of the Law of One. And these teachings, they offer us a framework for understanding ourselves and the universe in a deeper way, and they provide practical guidance for navigating our spiritual journey.
I'm really excited to dive into the rest of this outline and see what other insights we can uncover. Before we move on, what are some of the key takeaways you'd like our listeners to reflect on?
I would say that the blue ray is a powerful energy center that holds immense potential for authentic expression, spiritual growth, and service to others. It's about aligning our words and actions with our highest truth, expressing ourselves with clarity and compassion, and using our voice to create positive change in the world. It's a journey that requires ongoing self-awareness, compassion, and a commitment to aligning with our highest potential.
That's beautifully put, and it really highlights how the Blu-ray isn't just about talking. It's about living in a way that reflects our deepest truth and our connection to something greater than ourselves.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're all part of a web of interconnected energy, and that our individual choices and actions contribute to the collective whole. The blue ray empowers us to step into that awareness and to become conscious creators of a more loving and harmonious world.
Yeah, it's like we're all pieces of a giant puzzle,
Yeah.
and the Blu-ray helps us find our place,
Yeah,
and connect with the other pieces.
a perfect analogy. And the more we refine our blue ray energy, the more vibrant and clear those connections become. It's like we're all tuning into the same frequency, a frequency of love, understanding, authentic expression.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap here for our listener, just to make sure they're still with us. We started this deep dive exploring the Blu-ray as this powerhouse of communication, right? It's not just idle chatter. It's about speaking your truth, listening with an open heart, and even handling disagreements in a way that leads to understanding, not more conflict.
Right. And we also talked about how important it is to make sure what you're expressing is coming from a place of love and wisdom. It's not about suppressing your feelings or avoiding tough conversations. It's about making sure your communication is aligned with your highest good and contributes to a positive outcome.
And we can't forget about those practical tips for working with the Blu-ray. Visualization, chanting, journaling, even getting creative, through art or music. It's like there's a whole toolbox we can use to strengthen and activate this energy center.
And don't forget the spiritual side of things. Seeking alignment with universal truth, dedicating yourself to service to others, those are powerful ways to activate the blue ray and really amp up its positive impact.
We also got into some of the trickier aspects, like finding that balance between being assertive and receptive. It's like you have to walk a tightrope sometimes, speaking your truth without shutting down other perspectives.
It's a delicate dance, for sure. But it's a dance worth learning, because when you find that balance, you create a space for genuine connection and understanding.
Honestly, I feel like we could talk about the Blu-ray for hours. There's just so much to unpack.
There's always more to explore, but I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We definitely have.
Yeah.
So for our listener out there, what are some key questions they should be pondering as we wrap up this deep dive?
How can you cultivate more authentic communication in your daily life? How can you use your voice to express your truth in a way that uplifts and inspires others? And perhaps most importantly, how can you align your actions with the wisdom and compassion of the blue ray, creating positive change in the world around you?
Those are some powerful questions.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling our listener is walking away from this deep dive with a lot more than just information. They're walking away with a sense of empowerment, knowing they have the ability to tap into this incredible energy center and make a real difference.
That's the beauty of the Law of One, and these teachings, they don't just give us information. They awaken us to our own potential.
And remember, as we cultivate our Blu-ray energy, we're not just benefiting ourselves. We're contributing to the collective consciousness, raising the vibration of the entire planet.
It's a ripple effect. Each act of love, each expression of truth, each step towards alignment creates a wave of positive energy that expands outward, touching countless lives.
So to our listener, we say embrace the power of the Blu-ray. Speak your truth, listen with compassion, and let your light shine brightly.
And until next time, may your journey be filled with love, wisdom, and boundless possibilities.
Farewell, and may the Creator bless you always.